What is up, and welcome back to the SuperCoach Experience podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Savage, the coach of the Savage Burbos. With the introduction of the Bears, I'm actually thinking of the Savage Meanies. Grant actually suggested that to me the other day in the DMs, but I'm joined here for the Front Row Forward podcast today with Timmy Moody, the coach of Villi Army. Even though the Villi Army has left the Penrith Panthers, you're sticking truthful.
Yeah, I'm a loyal bloke, Love Villi Army.
Obviously, you can see, you might even be able to hear, we've got a decent setup in microphones, but in actual visual setting, we're set up in my kitchen, actually. The front, what happened?
If anyone needs a muesli bar or something, just let us know. We'll grab one. There's plenty in the cupboard.
What happened on Tuesday?
Oh, yeah, look, I very short notice had to pull out, which is not like me. I've never done that before in the history of all this, and I was... nearly having a panic attack with the things I had to deal with at the time, and nearly had an extra one, just having to sort of put it on your short term, with short notice. But we're here now. We could have been in the snazzy, swanky studio, but here we are. Yeah,
we're at the really nice studio this week. So it's unfortunate we didn't get to do the Front Row Forward podcast there, but I feel like it's a good thing that we're pumping it out week to week on week, and regardless of where we are in the off-season never stops for SuperCoach. And for us, the Front Row, we didn't want to push back our content. We thought we'd get it done regardless. And I think, as you've noticed in previous seasons at least, we've been in a different setting every single week. Like we're in another studio 2 weeks ago. We're here this week. We're going to be in the swanky studio next week that we're in. And then the week after, we're back at DM. So it's quite interesting. We're kind of like travelers.
It's just pre-season sort of, there's a lot of that goes on. Sometimes teams will take the, club to a hill for them to run up and down, you know what I mean? Sometimes I'll go on a boot camp, you know what I mean? It's just a bit like us. We're just travelling with our training and regime.
Yeah, but thank you for all the support on the Hooker podcast. Thank you for all the support on YouTube and all the listening platforms. If you are from YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. If you are on YouTube and you can't finish it right now, then head over to the audio platforms and follow us on there. That really helps us out as well. This podcast is brought to you by Kyle McGraw Accounting. If you want to get a tax return done, a basic tax return, $110 for a basic tax return. If you mention our show, if you have something more complicated, like a super fund or
some
trust,
BAS maybe.
Yeah, a business account tax return. He'll sort you out for price. Just mention the show and he'll look after you.
I don't know what BAS is, but anyway.
Is that something?
I think it's a thing.
Okay, right. I thought it was just like fish.
Yeah. One of those words. Yeah.
Firstly, thank you for joining us for the Front Row Forward podcast. I think this is the most exciting one every year, but I spoke to you on the phone yesterday, and looking through it, it's not that exciting this year.
Yeah, well, who knows what sort of excitement we might find in it. But, it doesn't seem like on paper as exciting. Last year there was a lot of really standout players like Corey Horsburgh that were really undervalued at like $350K that, went on to do great things. It started my season all year.
Terrell May.
Yeah, there was a lot of them. Even Naufahu White looked like he was going to have a bit of a breakout season and did as well. So... similar starting price to Corey Horsburgh, and went on to finish at about a similar sort of price as well as what Corey did, around that sort of 600 sort of K mark. So, yeah, some good ones there. But I think there's still probably going to be some, but they're just not as maybe stand out-ish.
They haven't stood out just yet. I've found a couple more since yesterday.
Okay, nice.
Which is exciting. But first, before we get into the front rowers, I want to shout out Geordie Lease, left a review on our Apple audio platform, frothing the early year content for us SuperCoach nerds. Can't get enough. Legends, keep it up for another year. If you do leave a 5-star review and a nice little comment like that on the audio feeds, we will read it out on the podcast. So thank you for that, Geordie Lease. Let's start off with Payne Haas. I think this has been I wouldn't even say a talking point, but in years past, it's been the question, to Payne Haas or not? Like, can you save $300K by going someone else? I've seen a couple of questions with this, but this is the most I've seen Payne Haas in a lot of teams at this point of the year.
We started last season at $669K, you know what I mean? And I don't know that many of us started with him in our side. I don't think I remember doing so.
I didn't, but we had to rush him in. We had to rush him in.
And now he's, $853K, which is, almost $200K more, about $180K at least more. But after what he did last season, it was just so consistent. It's pretty hard to ignore him. I mean, I was not considering him to start this. Like as soon as the team picker opened, I started thinking about looked at his price. I was like, oh, I don't know about that. Maybe how am I going to fit everything else I want to do? But the more and more I thought about it, I think it's something I do want to do. It looks pretty good to me.
852,700 in the first 4 rounds. He averaged 106, and I think that was including a 141 performance where he was a very good captain option that week. And I think early in the season he's a genuine captain option considering defenses are better. The high upside players are yet to warm into the season, so he is a very good option.
Feels safe. Like it doesn't feel like there should be too much of a drop off. Last year was a bit of an anomaly for him. I think he was just non-stop, like week after week. I'll just look at some of these. Like 38% of the time he scored over 90, which is
that's nuts,
crazy. And then when if you want to just go to 80 plus, it's 76% of the time.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've actually got similar stats here. He got 8 80s, 3 90s, 5 tons. So think about the second row forward podcast we talked about last year. The highest second rower for tons was Hudson Young the year before with 5 tons. He's doing that in front row, which is not meant to be in that high upside position. That's just crazy. He had 2 120 plus scores, and his lowest 3 scores. He had 45, 51, and he had a 59, 60, and 73. Apart from that, it was all 80 plus.
Yep, only scored under 50 5% of the time.
Yep.
So that's basically never. So yeah. Looking at that, I can't imagine why there'd be much of a drop-off. It just looked like he went to a new level. I don't know. For me, last year, I thought it was as soon as Terrell May started putting out big minutes and then just ripping and tearing, it seemed like Payne Haas kind of wanted to match it too.
Yeah.
So, his minutes didn't really increase that much. He only went an extra 1 or 2 minutes more than what he did in previous seasons. But, the average jumped up.
I have a little concern. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like Madge had a lot to prove last year and would have milked what he could out of Payne Haas at the time?
Yeah, but because the minutes hasn't changed too much, I don't think that's going to, over the seasons, it's been 62 minutes, 59, and last year was 61. So, there's not much variance in that. So, I think the minutes will stay. I don't think they're going to tell him, get less involved out there. He sort of was just the
You keep talking away from the camera.
The amount that of effort, and then just the sort of attack moments that come late in games where he's just throwing people off and a little bit of extras. So I think he's at the peak of his times right now. So keep with it, and if it doesn't work out, and it does drop off for whatever reason, you could consider just freeing up cash to sell him and do whatever else you need.
It's
safe though.
I like it, and I think there's a genuine argument. Is he, usually throughout the year we try and base our starting sides around, a gun halfback, gun fullback, gun centre wing, these guns. Is he potentially the highest upside person to start the year? Is he someone that we build our team around and don't compromise on?
Yeah, I think we just get greedy with the upside because Payne Haas seems like he's capped around sort of 90 to 100, 110 on those real good games. He can go bigger, but with some of those other upside ones in halfback and fullback, when you think about upside, they can go to that 140, but the amount of times they actually do those big ones isn't so frequent. So when Payne Haas falls short of 110 or 100 or those 90 scores, he's only dropping off to a 75 or 80 in most cases. You know what I mean? So it's not you're always going to get a solid score from it. It's just a matter of whether it's that big ton that you're really happy with, it's captainable.
Yep. My question is he in the green book?
Oh yeah, he's in the green book. He's definitely now in.
Do you think is he in the front cover? Is that how much of a slam dunk he is?
Well, he's the only one that's in there at the moment. So
nice.
Yep.
Nice. Terrell May, 811,300 is the second highest price. Front row forward with an 83 average last year. 4 tons last year, lowest scores of 57 and 58. Apart from that, he had 9 70s, 6 80s, 2 90s. He had a 60 and 2 50s. For some reason, vibes are off with.
It's just the bye. I think that immediately with the bye to start the year, you're kind of like, well, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like at the start, everyone wants to start hot, and it's kind of like, I'll pick him up a bit later. If you wanted to be different, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I just think because there's him and Payne Haas, and they're both sort of putting out similar things for an extra 50K, why not just start the year with the guy that's playing round one?
Payne Haas, to me, is obviously the better option, but I think for me, Terrell May in the Samoa lineups just looked a tad little unfit, and I feel like this offseason, without the chip on his shoulder, I don't know, it's just a vibe thing for me. The numbers read really well, and he's a great player. I think he gets that. I just think the high work rate, just trying to get involved in absolutely everything, doesn't happen from the start.
Yeah, well, within him and Payne Haas too, it felt like they were pretty much on par with each other last year, or maybe Payne Haas obviously was just that little bit better, and that's reflects in the starting price as well. But 90% 90-point scores for Terrell May are at 25% compared to Haas, which I think were 38.
I think Terrell May didn't have those lower games. Like the lower score was 57 and 58, but that's just because he's got a lower floor because Payne Haas is getting rested on the weeks he's getting really low scores. So, he's getting rested within games, if that makes sense. Yeah. So, for me, for 40K more, I think Payne Haas is a lot better.
We're all going to want him to definitely, it's just going to be a matter of timing and, priorities. As the season rolls out, there might be some other guns in that, it seems like we want to usually rush to fill centre wing if we don't start strong there.
Yeah. Black Book straight away. Green Book.
I'm not putting him in the green. Yeah. Look, for me, I can't find any reason why I will start with him on the bye. The only reason you do that for me would be just purely as a point of difference, because a lot of people are scared off. If you're like, look, you could look at it this way. Like if you did have Terrell May in your side and you don't play him, we're all probably going to have we're probably not, because there's not a great amount of players at the Tigers that you're going to want to start with. So not many people are going to have many on a bye to start with. So you do put yourself at a bit of a disadvantage. But if you balance your side well enough where you don't have that too many cheapies you're relying on to play, you could just place the next man up in your side, and then you've got a massive point of difference having him the week after. And people probably find it hard to get him into their side for a chunk of maybe the first month at least.
Yep.
But I don't think there's that much upside to justify or anything like that to justify having him as a pod.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you've got Payne Haas doing similar things at just a little bit more.
Yep. 100% agree. Number 3, Joe Tapine, 702,300. I wasn't interested initially, but then I looked into it. He averaged 80 up until round 11 last year. And I think with no Fogarty at the club, he'll definitely take a more senior role. Average 50 to 55 minutes, which is up from previous. So I'm for 150K cheaper, I don't hate it, but generally Tapine is someone that you buy through the buy period. He somewhat gets frustrating some weeks, and I feel like the numbers read a lot better than what it is week to week.
He can feel, frustrating to have a lot of the time. I know even when I've had him during the buy season, I've been like, I've got him in my side, and he sort of put out a lower one. Like, come on,
Yeah, he gets a 65.
Yeah, he can kill. And just looking at last year, his scores 60 plus are only 62%. So that's a big chunk.
He's a 60-60 gun.
Yeah.
Is that what we're looking for these days, though? Are we looking for 60-60 guns, or
but
is
that's
it more?
Only 60% of the time, man. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that. It's not enough for me. But, 702K to start the year, too expensive. There's not enough upside. And I know that with Tapine, I'm not guaranteed I'm banking that. You know how Terrell May and Payne Haas felt like they were just putting out 80, 90, 100 every week, and you're just getting what you paid for? I don't. With Tapine, it doesn't always feel like that. You're sort of a little bit unsure how you're going to get it.
And you need to rely on the offload being out, and I'm not confident from round one.
It's a bit wild to start the season.
Yeah. Joe Tapine, not in the Green Book?
Not for me at the moment. I mean, if things start getting dismal and other people start dropping off, I might have to dig back through the options. But, not for me. I'm not considering him too close to the start of the season.
All right, moving on. I really like this one, and I've toyed with ideas of having Payne, Haas and this guy in my starting setup. Keon Koloamatangi, 666,500. He's priced at a 68.2, but once he moved into the middle, average 77.4. That was predictable for you, wasn't it?
No, he's paranoid and nervous that I'm not close enough to the mic, even when I'm not even talking. It just reminds me of when I was
I feel like because we're not in the studio, like I see you do it in the studio sometimes and I'm like, that's fine. But because there's like more room and more echo,
Gotcha.
I worry that it's talking straight into the mic is like, you don't get the echo.
Yep. Doing my best.
Yeah, I know. You're doing really well.
So I like him too. I think that price just is a little bit lower, the 666K.
Well, it's a devil's number.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward, a bit evil. But yeah, I mean, scores 60 plus, only 65%, but his role sort of seemed to change a little bit throughout the year. Once he went into that prop role, he sort of absolutely nailed it. He went on a run consecutively, 104, 109, 119, 3 weeks in a row. Outside of that, I mean, the scores were great, but they were never really that much bigger. Even towards the end of the season, we were kind of just wanting it and never really sort of dropped off a bit. I feel like he's not like a dead set certainty, but for me, the thing I do like about him is because he is going to another club, I feel like maybe they just, get a lot out of him early in the season, you know what I mean? And
could it go the other way, or it could go the other way later?
I reckon they might phase him out in the back end of the season and give other younger guys a go, or try to put other people into positions that might be, going to adjust that. But I think for the start of the year, because he's such a proven, first grade football player, they just want to get the most out of him. You know what I mean? Like they don't need to care. I don't know if I'm looking at it wrong, but they could just not care about his body as much and sort of just go for it, mate. Get out there.
Do you worry about the return of Cameron Murray, Brandon Smith coming into the middle? I've heard reports.
Yeah, that's potentially, because he was really extra relied on with the lack of depth that they had due to injury and things like that last year. That's possible for sure. I mean, it's hard to say, but I don't think he would let you down too much either at that price. I feel like you'd kind of get what you're paying for, just whether you get more value out of it or not.
He's a really good price. I think the sample size over the last few years of him playing in the middle, he played in the middle for a short period the year before, very similar stats to last year. So I think you're definitely getting value. It's just whether I think you can afford to have him as your second front row if that's what you want to do. But if you've got him as your main one, it could be a concern.
Yeah, especially if he only is putting out like 55 points or a 50 or a 48 or something, like just based on minutes and stuff. You're like, I was expect when other people are putting out scores closer to 100, maybe with Payne Haas, it could be where you take a hit. Yeah.
Do you like the 1-2 punch of Koloamatangi and Haas?
Yeah, but I've got in my notes just he has to be playing big prop minutes, otherwise, nah.
If he wasn't going to another club, would you have less concerns?
No, I don't. A little bit. It is a little bit there, just because maybe they do.
I think it's another factor to worry about because you don't know how they're going to play it. Because there's every chance towards the end of the season, they start to blood the young people if they're out of contention. But I think the Rabbitohs have a pretty good side, and they might.
What do you have him playing in your predicted starting side?
Front row.
You've got okay, cool.
But I've also got like a Brandon Smith coming off the bench.
Yep.
Coming on, playing a bit of 9, but also playing middle. I've heard reports he's going to fill in at front row and not play 9 at all, and they're going to play a 14. If that's the case, then I like that a lot, to be honest. So it'll depend on round 1 makeup.
Averaged 80.5 at prop last year across 9 games. And then when he plays back row last year, 9 games, dropped to 56.5, so big drop.
So hopefully middle and big minutes. So it's definitely a watch, and I think we'll definitely speculate based on a bench makeup. Adam Fanua-Blake. Oh, sorry. Is he in the green?
I'll chuck him in.
Is he in the green book?
Yeah,
I think
he's
so.
Not, he's not like he's not as strong as Payne, obviously, but yep.
Nobody's as strong as Payne, to be honest. Adam Fanua-Blake, 638,900. Seems like a pretty good price to start up. I honestly didn't do any notes on him because I'm not interested at all. But I did ask the question to you yesterday. What are his minutes like with the Warriors versus the Sharks? I'll look into it. And you said you already had it. So
I've just got last year he averaged 54 minutes, and the years prior, year 2024, 2023 at the Wars, 60 minutes respectively, both of them. So he dropped off 6 minutes going to Sharkies. And he lost about 6 points as well in his average, 65. He averaged last year at the Sharks, and then the years prior, 72 and 72.5 respectively. That was one thing. For me, I kind of looked into something. I was just curious to see, because he is a try scorer, who does he play to start the year, and what did they concede to front rowers last year?
Oh, that's a good stat.
Yeah, because he's the only prop that's really known for being a try scorer. He scored 6 tries last year, and the 2 years prior at the Warriors, he scored 8 tries respectively as well. So very similar those 2 years, back-to-back at the Warriors.
It's like it's a minute to try ratio. Like, it probably adds up if you played the same minutes at the Sharks.
There's probably some sort of that in there. So he plays the Titans in round 1. They conceded 10 tries to props last year.
Was that good?
It's a fair bit compared to other. I mean, there was one club that let up through the middle about almost 20. I think it was. Was it? I want to say
Storm or Penrith?
I wanted to say it was Newcastle, but I could be wrong on that. I'm pretty sure it was.
I remember.
And they were lacking a bit there. Yeah, I think it was.
I remember we looked every week, and it was just like a front row always scored no matter what. I know Penrith were pretty high percentage for front rowers.
Yeah, and if you look at 10 tries, that's a 1 in 3. Like if there's 27 rounds in a year, that means that 1 in 3 games almost there, or a bit more than 1 in 3 games they're letting in a try to a prop throughout the season. So maybe they'll fix things up there in the start of the season, maybe not. But Panthers let in 6 over the year. Who they play in round 2.
Yep.
Then the Finns round 3 let in 10. And then Canberra in round 4 they have let in 8. I went a little bit further, but it's...
Yeah, and then 5 then 10.
5 then 10.
It's not...
It's every second round seems to look like a bit of an opportunity for him.
Yeah. For me, and you would have thought the injury to Cameron McInnes would have opened up bulk minutes for him leading into the end of the season. But that being said, they're warming themselves up for finals, so I understand why it's gone the other way. But Cameron McInnes did his ACL in round 23. 59 minutes he got. So even in a game that was like they really needed him, he only played 59 minutes. The weeks following, 48 minutes, 51 minutes, and 48 minutes. So
he has a role.
He has a role, and I feel like they're going to stick to that because it's working. For me, if I had the choice to put him in the green book or not, he's out.
I'm not particularly interested either. For me, he seems exciting. He's a bit like a bit of a gamble each week because you could get that extra.
Because you could score a try, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the exciting part of having him because it feels like he's got more upside. But I'd rather just pay for an extra 120, 30K or whatever it might be to get Payne Haas, who doesn't need to score that try to actually still get that sort of score.
And it's funny, it's more exciting owning an AFB that
it feels way more exciting having him cross when he does the little whoa.
But like he ends up on an 84, but an 86 from Payne Haas kind of seems, he underwhelmed a bit, didn't he?
Yeah, and just looking at some of his scores from last year, over certain thresholds. So over 90, scoring over 90 points only did that 8%. And we compared that to, I think Payne Haas was 38.
Yep.
And then Terrell May was 25. Then we go over scores of 80, only 21% of the time, which is 1 in 5, still not very often. And then over 70 increases, jumps to 42%. Over 60, only 58%. So he's
not quite at the threshold, is he?
No, he's not there. He's not there. I mean, he's good at different times of the season when different options are unavailable due to injury or due to the bye period and stuff like that. And he's definitely a premium prop option. But just to start the season, I just think you can either spend less or spend more.
Is he anymore though? That's the question. So out of the green book for my liking, and I think you'll agree as well.
Yeah.
Pat Carrigan, 636,900. I actually like him a bit more than Payne Haas, but not a lot. Than Adam Fiddle-Blake. Not a lot more though. Averaged 69 in the front row with an average of 66 minutes when he was in the front row. When he moved to lock, he averaged 63 minutes and averaged 54 points at lock. So what I'm seeing from that, more touches, less hit-ups when he is at lock. So I think based on that, he's overpriced.
And that's probably also just because there's one less guy doing that prop role, having to take those first carries or whatever it'd be as well. So
Kobe Hetherington was the guy that filled in that number 13 role for them as well. I think they might. Tyson Smoothie's still there. He played a bit of 13 at the end of last year. I think he's like, with no Kobe Hetherington, then he's the only guy that's going to be there doing that. Yes, he plays 65 minutes on average, but he's still going to play that role again this year. So I think at a price based on that, he's a bit overvalued, but like you kind of get what you pay for with him.
It feels a bit boring. It always looks pretty similar. The last 3 years, his points, and minutes are pretty similar. It's just 65 points to 67 point average, and his minutes fluctuate from 64 to 72. Nothing really changes for points wise though. So I don't expect that to change too much. And it's, if you're just paying the price he's worth to get that, it doesn't seem like the smart strategy to start. You've got a little bit pay for some points, but you'd rather do that in paying for bigger points.
Yeah. Green Book?
No,
agree. The next guy I think is a hot Green Book contender, and that's Toby Couchman at 588,300. I skipped a few people, so we'll go back to them if you have anything on them.
I'll just say not really. I mean, there's a couple down. I'm happy to brush over them. Corey Horsburgh, who's a little bit more expensive. He's just the same. Like he's the price he's worked up to. Yeah, last year was 250k less to start the season. Jack Williams was a pretty exciting little thing. It looks like maybe he could be on a trajectory. He looked Supercoach relevant. Not many people were considering him a lot.
I think he is definitely, and I think like a year on under the coach, I think he'll play more of a role. But I don't know what role that is, and I don't know how to kind of project, is he going to play on the edge? Is he going to play middle? I think he played most of both last year, which is a great role for Supercoach.
Yeah, he was really exciting with some of the line breaks, and he'd run and he's pretty quick. He'd get going. I don't mind him, but let's push on to Toby Couchman.
I think just as a starting option, though, I think he's someone you got to watch for sure. But like he's more on the black book for me, the green book, than Fanil Blake is.
Just because of the unknown, and I just feel like he's going to probably replicate at least what he's been doing, because he's not going to drop off. Yeah, because he's early in that sort of progression. It could be more though. That's the exciting part. Where
exactly. Yeah. So Toby Couchman, 588,300. I really like him as a purchase. He averaged 60 for the year, but when he played over 51 minutes, he averaged 71. No Clemmer, no Jack DeBellin.
How many games do you know if he played over 71? Do you mind? Was there many of those?
Sorry?
Was there many games that he averaged over 71 minutes?
No, it was over 51 minutes. 51 minutes. So okay, hold on, let me get that. But
he would seem to be around thereabouts, right?
Like he averaged 60 last year as it was, but with games over 51 minutes. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There was 8 games over 51 minutes.
Out of 13 that he played,
Yeah, so he played more games, more than 51 minutes. There's obviously, there's an injury-affected game here, 24 minutes against the Warriors, got 26 points. Yep. The reason I said 51 minutes is because he played a 50-minute game for 43. So I'm skewing the stats a lot here, lads. But 70-minute game for 69, 61-minute game for 61, 70-minute game for 74, 51-minute game for 82, 67-minute game for 91, 56-minute game for 69, 80-minute game for 70, 80-minute game for 63, and an 80-minute game for 60.
Yeah, Toby Couchman for me feels like underground. Like he's like a name that gets whispered in certain little chats, and he feels like a cool guy to be like, anyone looking at Toby Couchman? He feels like the type of guy, it's like where people like to say his name and it's like, I'm into the band before they go big.
Yes.
I'm not that into him personally. I might go to some of his concerts once he's putting out some hits. Up. Yeah. But at the moment for me, I kind of seem a little bit vanilla, but I might not be looking into it close enough. I do like that he's an agile body. He's a slimmer sort of front row, and it looks like he's got a bit more ticker in him, and could sort of there's a bit of unknown about him too. I feel like has been sort of treading water and looking, but then something happens to sort of stop him in his run, whether it's an injury or whatever it might be, before he can fully flourish. So I do think he could be good. And even just what you said there, if you take out that injury-affected game, that's going to increase his average. And then games when he plays over 51, it jumps to over 71 points rather than 60. So there could be, at least 10 points of value if he's going to play at least over 51 minutes. So that could be great. You know what I mean? So I should be probably looking at him for that reason, and maybe,
in a nutshell, he averaged 60 minutes.
I'll join the cool club maybe. And,
in a nutshell, he averaged 60 minutes last year just gone. So, if you look at that, that's probably what you're expecting to get from him. So, realistically, based over time, is that what he's priced at?
He does also seem within the opportunity he has within his club, he does seem like he's a bit more forwarded along than some of those other younger middle guys. They had to rely on Dylan Egan and Hamish Stewart.
Yeah.
So, I know there's sort of a bit different roles for some of the part, but I think that he's trusted. So maybe he will get good minutes there too, and maybe I'll have to have a closer look as a lot of these props. I feel like for me potentially could be one of the last positions I fill, just because I feel like you need the most information you can get with the minutes role, and that sort of presents itself the closest to the start of the season as it does. So I think, things will look a bit more clearer. But, we'll chuck him in there. I
like it. So he's the third in the Green Book. I think we're ticking along nicely for the Green Book.
Enough, yeah.
If you wanted to see these stats in writing, head over to the Patreon, patreon.com/SC Experience. We have a group chat going there and plenty of extra content. We recorded a Big Les SuperCoach hot seat team reveal the other day. There was a 45-minute episode where I pretty much just tell him he's going all wrong because he's not really a super coacher, and he had a bit of a reality. It must be
hard to hear when you sort of really follow rugby league a lot. What do you mean? He's good. Yeah.
No, but it's funny because he did try and bounce back off me.
I hope he smashes you this year.
Oh yeah, I hope so too. I did it last year with the Masked Wolf Rage Traders on YouTube.
Beginner's luck,
He ranked 570th for the year, and I was roasting his team, his first team reveal. And then he come out a couple of weeks later, a couple of weeks ago, with his first team reveal saying, the first team reveal last year was a joke. All right, let's move on. All right. So Toby Couchman is on the Green Book. Jackson Ford, 588,200. I haven't got much on him, to be honest.
I mean, I've got a couple of notes here just in case we had to talk about him, but it's nothing exciting. His scores over 60 are uninteresting. Only 50% of the time last year, 42% the year prior, 33 the year before that. I mean, he's really sort of started coming along the last 2 years.
He had a nice little run once he went into the middle.
Yeah.
I probably should have looked into that.
It depends on the role, and it's tough because they've got a lot of these younger blokes coming along that are demanding minutes too as well, like Halasima and Valmega.
He honestly scored really well throughout the whole season. You look at his scores throughout the year, you're probably happy with that. Obviously, averaged a bit more minutes later in the year, but nothing I am interested in. But moving on, Toby Couchman, Naufahu White. I think he's someone who the stats don't read like there should be any improvement. Pure base of 50. He didn't have much attack or create above that. Minutes were consistent. So if you're purchasing him, you're relying him to pretty much go on another level, which I feel like because he is young, he can do that.
Yeah, he can. But he went to a new level last year. It was his breakout year sort of last year. Years prior, 2024, he averaged 33 and was only playing 37 minutes a game. And then last year, he's jumped his minutes from 33 up to 55. But that's all he played, 55. So there's still room for more minutes there. And he does seem like he's fast-tracking his career, you know what I mean? He's a real sort of, even in international footy, really is established and himself quite fast. And he's a force to be reckoned with. He's an animal when he's out there.
I think he excites me a lot more than Fnul Blake does because I feel like he has that type of game in him.
Yeah, he is exciting. Scores over 60, only 41%. But look, I do think that it does come down to minutes for him, and it just you just need to get a read on that. But It's a tough one. He is expensive. He's $584K. Maybe you'd be just paying for what you get. There's probably not a great amount of value, but I think at some point for your sec, like if you've got Payne Haas there, I know you've probably got Trey Mooney as your second guy, and that's probably fine. I mean, depending on how well the minutes he gets, if he can just put out like 50, like 45 and 50 in scores, you'll be happy with that, which he's shown that he can. But if he's not sort of going to be that role, you kind of do want someone that's going to be getting you about at least 45 to 50, 60, hopefully. And sometimes you just have to pay for that too in props.
Yeah, sometimes you need a stepping stone that could potentially be the guy that you keep.
Yeah, unless like in previous seasons, there's guys like that, like Corey Horsburgh was $350K, who just came out and did that for you. And we could almost guarantee that he was going to do that at $350K too with the minutes he was going to get last year. So I'll see what happens. There might be some others that are potentially better value that can put out what he's going to do, though, to start the season.
Yep.
I'm keen still.
Green?
He was in my team. I took him out to put someone else in there, which I didn't think I was going to be keen on. But we'll get to them soon.
I like him. I like Toby Couchman a lot better.
He's in there too. Yeah,
because I think just Toby, there's a clear path for it. Whereas Naufahu White, you're relying on a little bit.
We have established there can be 10 points of value there if he's playing over 50 minutes. With Naufahu White, we need him to play more than that 55 minutes by the look, and we don't know
but
that
we
that's
don't know that that's going to happen because I think with Clemmer and DeBellin out of the St. George side, I think it's obvious Toby Couchman will play on the high minute side, whereas Naufahu White, you've got Reece Robson coming to the club who's potentially an 80-minute hooker. Connor Watson's going to be the 14 who spells at hooker, or maybe Benaya does, but like they're going to take middle minutes. Yeah. And we don't know what's going to happen with Sua Wong, Victor Radley, et cetera, et cetera. Max King, I'm going to brush over him. I think he's just pretty much what he's been at for the last few years. Isaiah Papalii, 579,900, averaged 58 on the edge last year, priced at a 59. Gets that edge role, means he's been training there all preseason. So I think last year's stats, I don't read a whole lot into them. I think if he does start on the edge, it means he's been training there all preseason. I'd love to see how fit he's looking because towards the end of the year, besides Dylan Brown, I thought IPAT was like one of the better players on the field.
I thought he was lethal. He looked dangerous, yeah. I just a little gut feeling I've got. I just feel like, I know I've seen everyone else's predicted sides put me off and made me think, what am I thinking? Because everyone's just got, rinse and repeat from last year, put Sorensen there. But I feel like
Sorensen comes off the bench.
Yeah, I feel like he's not a superstar, Sorensen. He can be, a bit of a utility guy. You can sort of he's not established within the Panthers side as hard as some of these other guys. He's a great player, Sorensen, but I just feel that IPAP has got more. I don't know. I feel like he proved himself last year. He's done his time, and I just feel like he's a better player. So I feel like he could surpass him potentially if they're willing to make that call. If they saw if they think that I'm thinking, but I don't know. Maybe they just stick with what they're doing because it's going okay. But then again, they didn't win last year, so maybe they changed some things up, tweaked some things.
Well, I think Sorensen throughout the whole lot of the year he was in and out of the side, so that because IPAP is durable. They might be like, hey, IPAP, he's probably more suited to playing 80 minutes at this point in your career, Scotty. We're going to put you back on the bench and we'll condition you to be the guy that can fill in on the bench, on the edge and in the middle. Yeah. And, you'll have less toll on your body playing 40 minutes rather than playing 80 minutes week in and week out. It's going to prolong your career if you want it to be, and it's going to help the side. And I feel like that's the way they're going to go. So for me, his best season averages were 74 and 71.
Yeah, for me, that's just remembering that and how...
I think you kind of got to leave that in the back of your mind, but knowing I think from what I saw in the internationals, if we see he comes out fit, then I think I'm keen.
Yeah. We had 3 games last year in the back row where we played an average of 83 minutes. There must have been a game we went to extra time or something like that. Yeah. Either that or we just kept running out in the park once everyone else had gone to the change rooms. But he averaged 67 points there, so a little bit of value, but it's only a small sample size. When he played at lock, we won't worry about that.
Yeah. coming into today, I wasn't keen to. I wasn't like knowing I was going to be keen on him.
I don't love him. I had him in my starting side to start the year just because I was like, oh yeah, they're going to pick him, and then everyone started, he won't be someone like, oh, well, stop filling up a spot where you need to look elsewhere now. So, but it's only for me. I'm going to consider him if he starts.
Yeah, I don't mind him as a Green Book shout, because I think he's the type of guy that like, it's definitely going to be. It's not a stat-based thing that we're looking at. It's going to be this is the guy that can jump out of the ground running. And the year you won, what was the tactic? It was put second rowers that are available in front row. And I mean, I know all our front rowers have come out of the ground running with Fanul Blake, Tapine, Terrell May, Payne, Haas. Like, we've got so many good front rowers. We had Tino last year as well. That like you couldn't do that last year. But maybe to start the year, it's just as good as having two premium front rowers, having a Payne Haas and a guy like him who can have upside.
Yeah.
All right. Leo Thompson, 542,100. Moving to a new club, I expected to come in looking all excited, thinking, yep, we've got something to work with here. But he just had a season high of 54 minutes a game, average of 55. So 54 minutes, I can't see him getting much more than that. We're relying on him getting 60-plus minutes to get a real jump in value. But the guys we're looking at and really keen on, we're getting more than 10 points value, whereas even if he gets 65, 70 minutes, there's not that value there.
Yeah, I think if you're a dog supporter and you're new to SuperCoach, chuck him in your side. It's exciting. You know what I mean? Like,
you'll get what you pay for sure. You'll get what you pay for sure.
The way I look at him, he just reminds me of James Fisher-Harris. He's a great footy player, but I don't reckon they're that SuperCoach relevant. It just doesn't translate. They always seem to be just that 5 to 10 points below the other guys that look as good as them. You know what I mean? So, yeah, not for me.
Mitch Barnett, not due back. I wasn't going to mention him because he's not due back till like round 10. But I just saw on your notes that you got some notes for him.
I thought it was. I read somewhere it was 1 to 4 that they were aiming for.
Oh, potentially. I could be wrong. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, he averaged 58 prior to his final game of the season. So the only thing is that's maybe about 6 points value if you take, you know what I mean, at most. But yeah, I don't know. He was great at points throughout the year prior, but I think there's probably better options. The price is pretty good though, $529K if he did, but I'd be a little bit reluctant to start the season considering.
Yeah, I think he's one. He won't start the season, so it might be like if he starts in round 4, it might be like a round 7 purchase, like a downgrade from Naufahu White if he's not killing it, if you got him or something like that. Jermaine Hopgood, this is one I'm excited about a little bit. 517,900. Averaged 46.8 last year when he was playing lock. Once he moved into the front row, he averaged 66. This could be a whole range of things. Role could have changed once he went into the middle. I feel like with Jack DeBellin and Dylan Walker there, he's a front rower now. He's not playing lock. The back injury was a concern in the preseason last year, and I think towards the end of the year, he managed that, and maybe another preseason with like that strength behind him, he could even go to another level. He's been a 700K plus player for a long time. For the 2 seasons prior, and just last year was an anomaly. And towards the end of the year, went underrated. 66 average in front row.
I'm really.
It looks like you're a bit surprised.
No, I'm just sort of ticking over, and because I just picture I want him to play. I would like him to just play hock, you know what I mean? And I sort of hadn't really paid too much attention to a lot of the pre-season transfers. I try to turn off from NRL and just not look at anything in the off-season. I've only just in the last couple of weeks tried to put my feelers out what's going on, and I'm aware that DeBellin's moved there, and I've only just sort of found that out when I was doing my research, and that made me concerned because I thought if he comes off the bench, I don't like it as much. But yeah, I really do like it because he finished the season on a high. He finished with scores of 73, 62, 69, 74 and 75. So, I mean, I didn't get that average, but it looks like about an average of about 72, just looking at that rough, or maybe about 70. And that's about 18 points of value there, just based on if you can just start how he finished this season, how he finished. Do like that. So there was a lot of periods of, where he wasn't scoring well, but he was a bit off last year, and I don't know exactly what that was. But, yeah, I've got a good vibe around it. I just feel like with the way that the club are ticking along, the way they finished the season, the fact that Mitchell Moses is,
But they finished the season so strong, and that's when he played his best footy.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited for it because they finished strong. He's doing good, and I think that they're going to start off well. And yeah, I like him. He's actually in my side. I took Naufahu White out of my side to put him in my side. But I'm now sort of like, if he's not coming off the bench, then
it is a bit of a worry. I feel like DeBell and Dylan Walker are going to rotate in that lock position. Hopgood will be that front rower. He averaged 53 last year. In the years before, 67.4 and 73.3. So he's got it in him. I just wonder, how bad was his injury? Is he getting along with Jason Riles? There's a lot of factors that we're probably not going to get the answers for prior to round one.
Well, I think they've sorted that out because at the back end of the year, you know what I mean? They all playing to sort of let's fix things for next season. And looking at, you just compared how his average points were down last year compared to the 2 seasons prior. So scores over 60 last year was only 33%. And then in 2024, he scored over 60, 75%. So massive, massive difference. And in 2023, over 79% of the time, over 60. So there's like a 40% difference compared to last year on those other seasons.
Prior to round 20, he had 2 scores over 60. And then after round 20, he had 6 scores over 60, which is all games by one. And I don't think
that's a bad thing for us to be looking at, because last year he only did it 33%. I think it was just because he was trending out. He wasn't favoured. Something was not right. But at the back end of the season, it's been sorted out. Showed consistency, and so I just think he's underpriced big time. He's one of those guys that from last year that do present a bit of value.
He started the season all right, 72 minutes, got 58, 64 minutes, got 43, 56 minutes, got 67. Then played 58 minutes for 52. And then his minutes really dropped off towards the back end of the year. And, he played an 80-minute game in round 26 for 74 points.
I won't be playing him in my side off the bench, I don't think. Even if I feel like I get, word that he's probably still going to play 55 minutes. You know what I mean? I'd still feel like, I don't know, I just don't want it. But if he was starting... I'd be going for it, but I feel like for him to start, they're not gonna start him at prop.
So I think they will.
Yeah, maybe because they've got a lot of those other smaller body props that they chuck in these days. But for me, just body shape wise, I know DeBellin's a renowned lock, but I feel
more of a front rower.
You could body shape, just chuck him there, and then Hopgood in his first season at lock was. I think he was ripping and tearing. Remember the start of the year? Must have been 2020.
Yeah, he scored 3 tons in a row pretty much. Yeah, I don't know. I just...
Must have. Hopgood he was.
Hopgood. The way I see it is their rotation's probably going to be Paulo starting at the front with Hopgood. DeBellin starts with Dylan Walker coming off the bench and taking into his minutes. And then Hopgood will play a bigger minute role. Paulo will play his 40 minutes and then there'll be a minute share. DeBellin will play a little bit at the front. Maybe play 45, 50 minutes, so only play 10 minutes in the front row and split that.
Who would be the alternative if they didn't start? It'd have to be, say they didn't start.
Jack Williams. But I feel like what they ended up doing was Jack Williams started on the edge and then he'd move into the middle or vice versa. So, there's every chance Hopgood comes off the bench and plays a 50, 60-minute role when Jack Williams shifts out to the edge. So, I don't know what way they're going to go. It's a bit awkward. It's really awkward. I think it's very similar to, the Roosters guys, what's going to happen there. There's a lot with who was the other side we're talking about? The Rabbitohs with Koloamatangi. So this is what preseason is for, weigh up the pros and cons. And he's in the black book for sure, the green book.
Yeah, and we don't need to stress about it too much. We'll get our answers we need in round 1 anyway, and then you just adjust accordingly.
Yep.
That's what... Yeah, good to have backup guys that you don't just have these guys on. I'm definitely going with that guy.
100%. Moving on. All right. There's a bit of a gap here, but I move on to Trey Mooney.
Yeah, there was others I'm not really that keen to talk about either. Yeah.
But if you feel like we've missed someone, please leave the comment in the comments below. I'm about to read out a comment from someone on the YouTube who brought up someone to my attention that I am going to talk about. So that I didn't have notes for initially. So if you feel like we missed someone, please leave a comment.
Yeah, and I'll dig a bit deeper and maybe add him into the green book.
Yeah, exactly. Trey Mooney, 442, priced at around a 45 average, but in his 4 games last year, he averaged 56. So just based on the games he played last year, he's underpriced because he just didn't play enough games to achieve a full price in SuperCoach. In games over 40 minutes, he scored an 89 and a 78. His game of 89 was very impressive. He had 43 minutes, 31 points in tackles, 18 points in hit-ups, which is 49 pure base, 16 points in offloads, and 8 points in tackle bust, which is 73 in base and power, 89 in total. He had 2 line break assists, no negatives. Yeah. So I think, a high aggression player like him that has an offload, the fact that he didn't have any negatives in that game in particular, that's a good sign because I feel like a lot of players have this in their game and they're kind of dragged down from all the negative stats.
More mistakes you make, then you get told to put it away and you're not being creative too, and then that minimises their... But it's only a small sample size though. Maybe he maybe had a lot of sticko on his hands that game. They put the spray on there a lot.
But that was one game, 73 in base and power in 43 minutes. If Newcastle are fair income and you use him to what I think they're going to use him, then he'll shit that in.
Yeah, my only concern is, I don't know, maybe he has to do a bit of time first before he gets that role. But they are...
For who? Who's going to be there?
Yeah, that's it. But that was what I was going to say. There's not like a great... They bought him for a reason kind of thing as well. And I think that they've got him at probably a pretty... bit of a value, good, decent price before he's really kicked off and blown up. I like him. Yeah, as you said, there was only 4 games last year, but 2 of them were kind of like bigger scores. There was one where he scored 78 points in 55 minutes and the other one 89 points in 43 minutes. And those other 2 games that he played that were lower scores, they were lower minutes. He played one that was only a 20-minute game. He scored 26 points. You can't expect much more in 20 minutes. Yeah. So put a line through that even. And then... the other game, he's played 36 minutes and scored 33, so pretty much put PPM of, close to enough to 1, you know what I mean?
The thing is, the sample size of those other 2 games, which is, what did I put
over 40 minutes, you could say. One was 43 minutes, scored 89. The other one, he played 55 minutes for 78.
Yeah, so his average is pretty much 82.5 over 40 minutes. But you can't go off that sample size, I guess.
Yeah,
is he going to be an 850k player? Is that what we're saying? No. I think he's more from the eye test, I think he can get to 600k plus comfortably.
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys, a lot of the time with SuperCoach, you get excited about someone who's a new player going to a new club and new role. It's also about the availability within that club too. They need him sort of. So,
yep.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. The price is pretty decent. He's got dual flexibility. I don't have him in my front row at the moment. I've actually got him in my second row. Swap him out with Jermaine Hopgood. Both got the dual there. So I like that.
I like that a lot. He's my starting front row forward too. I think he can go with it. It is risky, just not knowing what the role is.
Well, I could put in his mind and then have Hopgood at second row. It's the same thing effectively,
exactly.
Really.
But at least you've got a plan as backup kind of, which is nice. He's definitely in the green book for sure.
Is it turkey or something outside gobbling? I don't know if you could pick that up on the audio. What was that? It's a turkey?
No, it's a little dog. It's not my dog. It's next door neighbour's dog. All right, next person. I want to shout out Izzy Vale on YouTube. Thoughts on Griffin Neem? Payne said last week's he's a chance for round 1 after getting good news about his shoulder. Oh, I don't like that he's coming back from injury straight away.
What price is he?
Yeah.
He'll be cheap.
Sorry, there's more of a comment here. Averaged 61 in his last 5 games of the year before being injured. Cows lose McLean, which adds to his case. I think for 427k, it's easy points and coins. Oh, sorry. He commented that on I think that was Spotify. Izzy Vale, Spotify or YouTube, one of the two. So Griffin Neem averaged 61.4 in his last 5. Up until that, he averaged 37.9 in an average of 38.3 minutes. He averaged 62 minutes in his last 5.
Well, there's definitely value there.
Yeah, there's value there.
It depends on if he comes back with, and if he's good to go, and in the minutes he gets, but keep an eye on that for sure.
If he plays trials, I I'm a bit more interested. But I think for a similar price, Trey Mooney. And I think there's a lot of guys a lot lower who are value as well. So I think for the awkward price, if we didn't have Trey Mooney there, I'd be all for it.
Yeah. I forgot about the cheaper ones we've got that are decent around that 300k one. So 300k mark.
So we go all the way down to Tom Flegler, 346,200.
Also a little bit keen on Dimitri Valmega. I just want to say,
I like him.
I think that he's just at they've fast tracked Lecker. He's pretty much starting. I think he could be not that far off. I know that props and middles they sometimes need to.
Just a bit of time,
a bit more to senior, get a bit bigger and a bit more head smart for the game and stuff like that to be trusted with bigger minutes. But I don't know, they're wild, the Wires, and they've got that sort of. He suits that brutal style of footy.
I do like it. I just feel with Aaron Clark, James Fisher-Harris, Mitch Barnett due back. Is he round 4?
Yeah.
If he was round 10 and Dimitri Valmega got that starting spot, I feel like he's such untapped potential. He's like a Naufahu White a couple of years ago. He's like Xavier Willison. I feel like you can just see a high upside there, but it just hasn't quite happened yet. Yeah. But I see what you mean. I don't think the time is now, though.
Yeah, I've got he needs to be probably playing more than 40 minutes.
Yeah, he's got a future, for sure.
Big time.
Yep. There's plenty of other guys we probably could talk about.
I also like Ben Tulty, if he can get more minutes, but it just depends on minutes for that guy as well. You're off the bench, obviously.
I like All Blacks Tawa.
Yep.
He's at the Broncos now. He's at the Broncos now.
Okay.
From the Dolphins.
He's a big boy.
But Tom Flegler, 346,200. The last 3 years of Tom Flegler, his average was 59, and then when he was at the Broncos, 46 and 47. Priced at like a 35. So based on his last year where he started at the Dolphins, 20 points value. I don't think we're going to get that straight away.
Only 4 games, so small sample size again. So kind of.
But there's even value from his time at the Broncos, where he averaged 46 and 47. I think
there's massive value. There's definite value. He's in my side.
I think that's whereabouts he's going to be at for the start of the year at least.
Might not start though as well.
Yeah, I don't know what the go is there, but there's a chance he starts. If he does, I'd be a bit worried just about minutes because I feel like he's the type of guy you probably ease into the season,
I feel like also at the price, though, if you're unsure of others, like he's not going to lose much at all. Like he's won't lose any. I think he'll at least do his price point, and you might just be a little bit of a slow burn, and then a couple more weeks into it gets the more minutes. So I feel pretty confident with him provided he starts.
Yep. I like these other guys at lower prices, which is why I'm probably not keen on Tom Flegler. But Jesse Colquhoun, 300. Oh, is he? Tom Flegler?
He's in my side. I've actually got him in my side, not even in the green book. Yeah,
right. Well, I want to hear your thoughts on these last two, on these other two who are in my side.
Yeah, one of them I fed to you pre-season, but that's
who? Paseka? Yeah, you did. Jesse Colquhoun only averaged 25 minutes for the year, 332,000. But once the McInnes injury happened, he pushed up to 40 minutes. With an average of 34 for the year, he averaged 47 without McInnes. So it's not like world beater territory, but there is value and there's a clear role and there's a clear reason why he's getting the minutes and why he's underpriced. So for that reason, I like it.
Do you think he's going to come off the bench?
Well, he was starting at 13 when Cameron McInnes was out injured. I've heard rumours Cameron McInnes is probably going to come back earlier than potentially predicted.
Okay.
Like people are saying round 1, but he did his ACL in like round 23 last year. So,
that doesn't seem.
Yeah, like... I don't think he's coming back round 1, but I think that's definitely a watch just to see where he's at closer to the season starts. But there's value there. I don't think he's like a 60 average guy. I think he'll make 100. Bit more than 100K and then you'll move him on, but there's value there. You could probably play him some weeks, but don't expect like 60 minutes from him.
It might depend on the amount of time when, McInnes comes back, so he might not get enough time to churn along and make that 100K before he's replaced.
Yeah, let me just have a look at see if there's any news based on Cameron McInnes. Little Scotch amidst closing with September.
But he did look like a goer, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Yeah, I've got nothing at the moment, so we'll look into that a bit more. But I can't imagine he's back too early, to be honest. But yeah, is he in your side?
No, he's not my side. No.
Do you feel like? Do you feel like
a little bit interested if maybe there's like a 6 to 8 week gap?
I don't think
of him probably playing there.
The thing is, I don't think he's a try scorer. So if we only get 4 weeks of no Cameron McInnes, then there's not much value to be had there because it's gonna be a slow burn. It's not gonna be a ridiculously slow burn. Like I feel like he'll start straight away from those high scores. But usually these guys, you kind of need to wait, 6 or 7 weeks so hopefully he gets an attacking stat that just bumps up his price a little bit. So I think he's a great purchase. I think that McInnes news we just need to keep an eye on. So if you're in the comments and you know, please let us know because I just assumed he was out for a long period of time. Taniela Paseka, 328,600. 3 games last year for an average of 48. He's only priced at like a 34. In the past 2 years before that, averages of 45 and 55. So there's value wherever you look in that. He's the main guy, so I think he gets more minutes. No Matt Lodge. Takiaho's in the side. He's only getting older. There's a lot to like about it. I think he's in my side.
Yeah, I really felt like last year at the start of the season, he just started to look like he was really taking that next step and looked dominating and kind of just sort of flew under the radar a bit before. Yeah, and round 1, 71 points he scored in 54 minutes last year. Then round 2, scored 52 points in 55. Round 3 did his Achilles, so which then dropped that average down a little bit. But yeah, there's season highs of 54.5 just back in 2003. And there's a good sample size of 18 games that year. So I think he's, plenty of value. Probably at least like minimum of 8 to 15 points.
Yeah.
He's a senior player. He's a guaranteed starter. Yep.
Yeah. I'm all in on him. I think
you could play him too.
Yeah.
You could play him.
I remember
you could potentially have him as your second if you're getting wild elsewhere.
I think there was you could be right.
Yeah.
There was people last year or the year before who bought him for a very cheap price at some point in the season, and he ended up going over for a try late in the season. Was that Paseka or Sipley?
Last year? No,
it wasn't last year. It was the year before.
I can't remember.
Very cheap price. Got him late in the season.
And do you think it was Sipley? I think he's more of a known try scorer, but
I'll check.
It could have been Paseka.
I'll check the year before, but I think he's a good person. Good person. I don't know if he's a good person. Good boy. But yeah, I would say he's in the green book for sure.
Did have a try assist in that round 1 last year for that 71 in 54 minutes, which is probably not too often. So he's not really a 71-ish sort of player. Yeah. He is more a 52 to 45 to 55-ish sort of point player, but there's value in all of that anyway.
Yeah, he's not a Royce Hunt, which is the main thing. Talking about Royce Hunt.
No.
He's come back looking fit.
That's why I'm keen on these like 328 sort of K guys like Flagler and stuff. And even if they don't work out, you can downgrade them to free up cash to go to a crap a guy that's showing a bit more potential if you need to or whatever. Or even just go a little bit more up to someone who's actually doing a job at like maybe 400K or something like that.
Yep. 100%. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's where I stopped too. And I mean, I'd like to, look into a lot of these, 200K guys that, maybe might get an opportunity, but it just doesn't look like there's going to be too many at this point without, injuries happening or whatever. So.
And we're going to need to see bench makeups, etc.,
etc. And that's stuff you're going to find out towards the back end.
Like there's Cody Hopwood from the Newcastle Knights. We said Newcastle Knights need middles. Leo Thompson's just left the club. Actually, I've missed someone. Jacob Safidi, I put notes down for 426K, priced at a 43.6, but had 3 injury-affected games, which bump his average up to 50. So a little bit of value there. No Leo Thompson, which pushes... And I tried to look for games without Leo Thompson. He only scored like a 43 and a 48. So there's no positives there. But you could look at someone like Jacob Safidi if you feel like I just feel like the Safidis are just kind of guys that never really live up. But let's read out what's in the green book for this week.
And Paseka. Do you need to do that thing?
No, I don't. Not yet.
Sick. All right. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 names is pretty good for 4 positions.
Yeah, I think that's
but
perfect.
I feel like you might need a few more names if 1 or 2 of them get ruled out. You know what I mean? But let's see what happens. We've got up the top, Payne Haas at 853K, Keon Koloamatangi at 666K, Toby Couchman at 588K, Naufahu White as a maybe, depending on if he on roller minutes, 584K. IPAP as a maybe, depending on if he's a starting second rower. Probably unlikely, but hopeful. We're just hoping. 579K. Trey Mooney looks like a good thing over at the Knights, 442K. Tom Flegler, the 2 cheapies here of the options, 300K guys, Tom Flegler and Paseka. We probably like Paseka better just because it looks more likely he's going to start.
Are you putting Calhoun in there?
He's not in mine, I'm not saying for people not to consider him. I'll have a closer look. I didn't mind it, but I think if I'm picking, if I could have Flegler, I'd probably have Flegler over Calhoun, just because of the longevity as well. Because I don't want to make too many moves at prop and stuff until they've really flourished and made their money. Or
are you putting Hopgood in there?
Hopgood was meant to be there. Whoops. Okay, I've got to add that. Thanks for that's one that slipped through the cracks. Hopgood.
No, so you've got 9, and then maybe like if I was doing the black book, Calhoun would be there as well. Yep. And I probably wouldn't have Naufahu White there because I feel like he's more of a watch.
He's a bit overs, he's a bit overs. Yeah. I just feel like I really do like him as a footy player, and I think he's got that real SuperCoach keeper quality. Like he's one of those guys that he will be a gun in coming years for sure. Whether it's now or not, I'm not sure.
For sure. So Haas, Koloamatangi, Couchman, White, Mooney, IPAP, Flegler, Paseka, and Hopgood. That's the 9 players. So we'll keep that updated throughout the year, and I'm glad we've come into the second episode not forgetting the green book because we did it very quickly last year. Next week, we're going to do 5/8 and halfbacks if you haven't already got to jump on second rows.
Oh, okay. You want to skip past them?
Just because we're in the new studio, where we only got a 2-hour time slot. And we want to make sure second rows is in depth. So we usually
that just means less homework because I've got less turnaround between now and the next podcast. I know. That's good. I like
that also as well. Yep. So we'll do 5/8 and halfbacks next week because we've got that shorter time slot. The week after we got more of a time slot. We'll do sub 500K second rowers, which is what we do every year.
We do break it up into 2.
Yep, and then. We'll do over 500K the next week, which is
because there's a lot of positions available. You've got to fill a lot of them, and there's a lot to do.
But then after that, centre wingers is always pretty tricky, isn't it? But thank you for tuning in. Hopefully this episode was bearable. In my kitchen, I'm about to cook dinner straight after this, so that'd be great.
Good cook, mate. Or
I'm going to try some new recipes.
That's a good thing to say when someone asks if you're a good cook. Just, I'm going to try some new recipes. I like that.
No, I cook a lot. I actually, my go-to is I usually just eat a burrito bowl every day that I cook.
Yep.
It's just usually lean mince, taco mince, and a bit of beans and stuff. But I'm trying this new Greek cucumber mince salad that I saw online. And I cooked this this pizza today.
Yep.
The base is chicken mince.
Okay.
Instead of bread, and that slapped. Put a bit of potato paste, cheese on top, and a bit of cottage cheese, then a little bit of parmesan. Okay. So it was a 3-cheese, high-protein pizza. It was bloody hectic. Yeah, nice. SportShedTV charity match tickets go out tonight.
TLT was today.
No, TLT is Tuesday.
Oh, that's right.
The tickets go on sale tonight, so I'll put the link in the bio once they're out. And
whose head you taking off this year?
I think I've got to say, spoiler alert, SC Spy is playing for the other team.
Whoa.
So it'd be wrong of me not to target him. I don't want to target him. I was the person who recommended him to play in this game, and I'm glad he got the call up. I was hoping he'd play on my side. I'm going to message him
and start saying he's going to smash you. Get a bit of bands going. Hopefully he puts one on you.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm really excited to watch now. Like I came down to watch last year, and it was it was fun. But now Spy's down there too because he talks a pretty big game. He talks about his touch footy and his. And so I'm keen to see how he goes.
I was speaking to Timmy Williams about it because I was seeing if he was coming along. He's not coming along on the weekend. So, but his tip was Spy throws an awesome 30-meter cutout ball. Apparently,
also you're going to go for it.
So very similar player to me by the sounds of. I like to throw them big, fuck off cutout balls, as you know from Oztag.
Yep.
So maybe a interceptor's on. I'm not going to smash him. He's too nice. He's too nice to
He'll
me.
smash you, bro.
He probably will. All right. Do we have anything else?
Nah. Good luck to your studies and dig in there. Hopefully someone's got a few we've missed because I don't feel like maybe we've missed a few. There's maybe a few little diamonds.
Maybe. If you have a diamond, then please leave it in the comments and we'll look into it. I'll bring it up next week if we think it is decent. All right, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.